island of Bonaire. Bonaire is a Caribbean island just off the coast of Venezuela. It's one of the ABC islands, so that's Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. The entire island is surrounding by a fringing coral reef, which is protected in a marine park. And a marine park kind of works like a national park on land, just in the water. They have some of the healthiest coral in the Caribbean because of this protection. What the controversy that we're looking at is that a company called Carroll's Beach Bar is proposing to build a commercial pier that will have restaurants and dive schools, and that will be going out into the marine park, so it will affect the wildlife there. But this case is, since Bonaire is a Dutch province, this whole case is under the organization, or it's being looked at by the organization called the Rijkswaterstaat, which is, they look at the Netherlands BES Maritime Management Act to determine if the construction is safe to proceed, looking at navigational hazard, environmental impacts, impacts on wildlife, and also if it will affect any maritime archaeological sites. So that's what they're looking at in the case, and then there are multiple stakeholders.
Yeah, so in this case, the main stakeholder for the building of the pier is Carroll's Beach Bar, as Luke said. There are also stakeholders for the potential owners of the new dive schools or restaurants or on the marina, as well as cruise tourists who are visiting this for kind of the appeal of this big new pier. On the other side, there are a lot of public residents involved against this. At every appeals stage, there's been public residents involved, and in total, it's been over 1,000 public residents have been on these different appeals, as well as stayover tourists who are coming to obviously stay in Bonaire. A lot of these tourists are diving in the reef, and then a lot of environmental conservation groups are involved in this. You have the World Wildlife Fund Netherlands, and then some NGOs, including Stichting Nationaal Parken Bonaire and the Sea Turtle Conservation Bonaire, which are both tasked with the protection of the reef and the marine park. And Sea Turtle Conservation Bonaire set up another organization called Save Bonaire Marine Park, which has been pretty much dedicated from its beginning to protecting the marine park and updating the case and doing appeals and everything.
All right. Environmental impacts. So right here you can see, here's the island of Bonaire. The blue is representing the National Marine Park. We're looking at this little section, the red, that's actually the proposed pier. So this pier already exists. This is actually Carroll's Beach Bar. So they're proposing building this huge pier, and they actually already put 36 pylons in there, steel pylons. They actually halted construction. It was illegal construction on the permit that they had acquired at the time. So there's already steel pylons. These steel pylons are going to be surrounded by a concrete base, and this concrete is expected to, from the dust and everything associated with construction, it's going to actually raise the pH of the surrounding area and up to 1 kilometer square radius. So this is actually the entire affected region just from this one little pier. So other than that, just general construction of the pier, there's actually measurements taken, a lot of regulations over overlying structures in Bonaire on the water. So construction of the pier, actually the pylons, already seeing erosion from these pylons in the water, which is going to increase sedimentation all within this 1 kilometer area. So the sedimentation is going to settle on the coral, smother it out. It's going to kill the zooxanthellae that live on the coral. Ultimately, you're going to see a death of the reef. Also, there's going to be, with proposed construction, there's going to be more visitors. So you're going to have more trash input, you're going to have more sewage around the area. So that's going to actually increase pollutant flux into the water. And also the wood decking on top of this concrete base is expected to release chromate, copper, arsenic, which we know is detrimental to coral reefs. Overall, you're going to see a decrease in biodiversity and water quality, and that's going to decrease stayover tourism.
Yeah, so like we mentioned, tourism is a huge part of Bonaire. It's about 80% of their income for their economy annually. And basically they separate tourism into two categories, stayover tourism and cruise tourism. And over recent years, as you can see in this graph, stayover tourism has remained the same, but there's a pretty sharp increase in cruise tourism. And what this means is, this is kind of two sides of the debate, because this pier is designed to kind of enhance cruise tourism, whereas preventing this pier would likely be beneficial for stayover tourism, because a lot of the stayover tourists, 70% of them use the marine park, 48% said they came exclusively to dive the marine park. The marine park was the exclusive reason that they came. So like I said, it would highly impact the diving of the area, which would negatively impact the stayover tourists, but could increase cruise tourism further, which is a large part of their economy. So what we have also, just to go through the case from start to finish, the timeline. So this was originally proposed in 2009. It was shot down almost immediately and kind of sat dormant for a few years. There were a number of environmental impact assessments done during that time, and then there was another application put in about 2013 to, again, build this pier by Carroll's Beach Bar. And over the next few years, there were a series of appeals and hearings between some of the public stakeholders and private residents. The main
6.5.
Okay, the main proponent obviously is Carroll's Beach Bar, and then conservation groups would appeal the rezoning of the marine park for building this pier. Essentially, this is still an ongoing process. There's another appeal coming up, I believe it's June 10th of this year. So this is still being resolved, although it was ruled that it's illegal at this time. They are looking at rezoning the park to build this pier.